Today, I'm going to talk about Ace Attorney because it's definitely been on my mind a lot since I've been playing the games trying to catch up for Ace Attorney 6. So, you may not know this about me, but sometimes I don't do things the most efficiently. So, I really goofed in that I didn't play the Ace Attorney games in order. This doesn't really matter. It was just a matter of like how I got them and then how like timing of them coming out was. So around the time that the fifth one came out, I was ready to play it. You know what I mean? I got it and I was like, okay, sure, I can play this because it's new and the games aren't really that super plot focused that you can't do that. There's some details that are lost in that, which I'll get to later, but otherwise it's fine. So I played the games. I played the first one. I played a little bit of the second one, but then the fifth one came out and I came back to the fifth one. So I was like, I'll play the fifth one. So I played the fifth one. Then I went back, I played the second one and the third one. Then I played Phoenix Wright versus Professor Layton, which was the awesome crossover game. Really good. Still just as good as both of the series. So, yet again, I love a good crossover. That's a big thing about me. But, forgetting that tangent, then we moved on to, that's all the games, right? You know, it's like, oh, where can you go from there? There was also Ace Attorney 4, known as Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, which was a DS game. And there also was Miles Edgeworth Investigations, which was another DS game. But those were also the ones that were the most different, and I think where the series kind of a little bit lost itself for a bit. So, due to the way I am, I got those games, Apollo Justice and Investigations, but I never finished them. I kept going, but I didn't finish them. Like, I got to the fourth case out of 5 in Investigations, and I got to the third in Apollo Justice. So I was like, okay, well, that's fine, and I was just going to get to them eventually. Well, finally I've gotten to them, and I want to talk about them. I want to talk about my experiences and just some thoughts that I've had in general. So obviously, spoilers for Investigations and spoilers for Apollo Justice. I don't know why the name left me, but honestly, like, Apollo Justice is, there's not even, like, the series just goes on. It's really silly. So, first I want to talk about what made me super happy about Investigations. So, in Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney Investigations, the idea is that you play as Edgeworth, the prosecutor, who's the villain hero of the whole thing. He's kind of like Shadow the Hedgehog in a way. That, like, he's a villain, but he's only one because he thinks that that is what he's meant to do and that's the right way to do things, and then he realizes it's not, and then he becomes pretty much the ultimate figure of, I don't know, just truth and justice, I guess. So the idea that Edgeworth has his own game is really cool, and it works in a lot of ways. It focuses on him going out of the country, coming back into the country, and then over the course of 2 days, being involved in 4 different crazy cases and things gone wrong. It's just, it's really weird that that would happen in 2 days, but regardless. So it starts out, he's in his office, and somebody is, like, stealing a file, and then he flashes back to he was on a plane. But basically, yet again, spoilers, everything is looped in to a smuggling ring. They mention it all throughout the game, but you don't feel, like, encompassed by that story. You don't feel strong. You don't feel like that story is with you. You know what I mean? You don't feel like that story has its grasp and that you're really invested. And I think that's why I sat it down for like a year. Because I got busy and then I wasn't really motivated. And I picked it back up, played through the 4th case, and at the end of the 4th case you realize, oh, this is why I'm supposed to feel invested in this character. This is why I'm supposed to feel invested about all of these characters. And then you realize that the entire game, 4 cases have been set up for the 5th one. For the 5th case, the last one in the game. I think that makes it one of the funnest, like, engrossing cases in all of the games that I've played, because, like, it's really strong. Like, that setup makes the last case super strong. But my question to you is, should a game be built up for the ending to be really good and have it be really fun in the end? Or should it try to be good all around? Because that's the big thing I have with investigations, is that it's very fun, it switches things up, it's very different. But at the same time, it just feels like it kind of drones on until it tells you how you're supposed to feel, and like then you're like, okay, and it makes sense at the end. But should the game really be that way is my question. Overall, very fun game. And then we move on to Apollo Justice. I have not finished Apollo Justice yet. I'm on the last case. But basically, yet again, another moment of spoilers. The whole idea is that 7 years have gone by in the lore, and Phoenix Wright stopped being an attorney, and Apollo Justice just shows up. He's just a guy. He can see real good, and he has a bracelet that lets him see real good. I don't get it either. But basically, he can stare into people and say, like, oh, well, you swallowed when you said, I didn't murder him, so you did murder him. And then they're like, oh, no, he saw through my ruse. But the whole idea is that he works for Phoenix Wright, and that Phoenix Wright is still there. But he's, like, in the background as this mastermind character, which is very strange because, yet again, he's never seen as a mastermind in any other bit. He's not so, like, calculating. I guess you could chalk this up to him being, it's been 7 years, so you could say that it's the 7 years of going over the facts and going through everything in his head that's made him that way. But the problem that I have with Apollo Justice is my knowledge of the series after it. Because after Apollo Justice, it goes back to being like the games before Apollo Justice. Whereas Apollo Justice as a game seems to be made as in, like, this is the new era of Ace Attorney. That's very much what they wanted it to be. But it focuses too much on Phoenix. The big, like, dramatic reveal, like the big dun 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 dun, is that you get to play as Phoenix, and, like, the graphics become like they were in the first 3 games, and you play as Phoenix for a little bit. But the problem is that I've never seen a Phoenix Wright game, I've never seen an Ace Attorney game like this before, like Apollo Justice, where the last case is very small and underwhelming. And I mean that, like, there's a lot of big ideas to it, but the whole thing is so, like, there's one crime scene, and then you flash back into another case that is literally, you have one image of, like, stuff. There's no multiple rooms, there's only one image that you get of, like, the crime scene, and you judge everything in that flashback case off of that one image of the crime scene. It's just so very small in scale, and I know that they connect, so it's like 2 smaller cases to make a big one, but it's just weird. It's really bizarre to me, and that's what I don't get, is that why is, like, the big dramatic reveal that you play as Phoenix Wright? Like, if you're gonna make a game where you don't play as Phoenix Wright, then don't have Phoenix Wright be central and then play as Phoenix Wright anyway. Like, the game comes down to being able to play as Phoenix Wright again. That is it. That is, from my understanding, and from, like, the point that I'm at, you get to play as Phoenix Wright again. Whoa, that's so cool, right? Well, it's cool, but it loses something in that. It loses that Apollo isn't developed. Why is the game called Apollo Justice? Not develop Apollo, but develop Phoenix even more. it just, it's bizarre. It's weird. It's weird that he's the mastermind. It's a fun game. It is. Like, I still love it. I still love the franchise. It's just definitely the weirdest one in that since they tried to take this different angle, I just don't think that it works nearly as well. And then immediately after that, they went to having games where you play as Apollo and Phoenix, which also works. Like, and now that I'm thinking about it, you actually do that in Apollo Justice. But it's weird. It's such a weird game. So Investigations, slow to start, I loved it. Apollo Justice, weirdly slow, weirdly tense the entire time, and like weirdly connected with all the cases. All the cases are connected, but it's like, you get just this weird feeling the entire time. It's weird. It's still a fun game, and I'm super excited for the 6th game. The 5th game was a big step up, I think, from, in my opinion, it was a big step up from what had been done with Apollo Justice. A big step in the right direction. So, I liked it, and I think with having more attorneys, that adds more, it adds more depth to what you can do with the gameplay. Like, having Apollo and Phoenix, which is what 6 is about, is that you play as Apollo. You might play as Athena, but I'm assuming that Athena will be there. You might play as her. You might play as her, maybe. But, like, in one case. But Ace Attorney 6 is based on the idea that Phoenix is away in a foreign country, and meanwhile, you have Apollo and Athena who are having to hold things back together at the home base, back where everything's normal. And then, I'm assuming, there's going to be some cool crossover of those two worlds. That's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming that there's just going to be a lapse of their court system and the foreign court system, and it's going to make this big, it's going to be cool. Like, I'm excited for it. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm really excited for this game. And these have been my opinions on Ace Attorney Investigations and Apollo Justice. And thanks for watching. If you like this video, you could leave a like if you wanted to. I mean, if you want to, you could. And if you want to see more high quality videos like this, then let me know and maybe subscribe if you haven't, because I like subscribers. But in reality, I'm doing it for fun, you know, and I hope people come and have fun with me. It's just a journey of opinions and ideas, because I have so many ideas. Like, I'm an idea master. So this is a way for me to realize those ideas. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video that I do, which I don't know what it is yet. So I'll see you whatever that is then.